Welcome back to this new video offered to you by the Custer Academy. My name is Luc de Custer, founder of the Custer Academy. In this video I'm going to talk about independent and dependent events, and we are going to look at the probability of these events. Now, before starting the video, before continuing, do not forget to click on the subscribe button, click on the bell button. Every time we will have a new video, YouTube will inform you about it. Now, let's have a look at the definition of independent and dependent events. Independent events are events that do not influence each other. So basically, the probability of one event is not influenced by the probability of the other event. So there is no mutual interaction. We can do these events, and each event will have the same probability. Dependent events are events that do influence each other. So basically, the probability of one event influences the probability of the other event. Let's look at some examples. Selecting two random numbers. The random numbers always will be random, whatever the probability is, whatever the event we're considering. The roulette table. The roulette table is a typical game where we have basically random numbers, and random numbers means that the probability of any outcome is the same. It's the same like with a dice game. We throw one dice, we have an outcome, the probability is always the same. The same with the roulette table. Another example where we have dependent events is where we get two cards from the same deck of cards. Basically, once we take one card, the second time we take a card from the same deck, the probability changes. So they are dependent events. When we look at events, we also want to define and assign what probability is about. And the conventional notation of the probability is P of E1, which means the probability of event E1 occurring. And when we look at the classical probability assessment, we say that the probability of event 1 is the number of ways the event E1 can occur, divided by the total number of elementary events. When we look at the examples that we considered before when we were looking at throwing the dice, we looked at what's the number of events that we have when we can throw double dice. We have 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, and 6, 6. Basically, we have 6 ways E1 can occur. The total number of elementary events in this case is 36. So the probability that we have to throw double dice is in fact 1 divided by 6. Another example would be throwing where the total of the two eyes is equal to 4. Here we have 3 possibilities. We have 1 and 3, 2 and 2, and 3 and 1. Other combinations are not possible because 4, the only possibility there is 4 and 1, that's the lowest combination. So we only have 3 events, and the probability of this event is 3 divided by 36 is equal to 1 divided by 12, approximately 8%. Now we can continue with this, and we can have a look at the roulette. You know the roulette, you know the casino, the roulette game. Basically, the roulette game is what is basically translated as a little wheel in French. Roulette means that it's a small wheel. And you know the roulette wheel, you make it turn around, and there are different numbers on it. And on the table, you find those numbers where people can place their bets. Now, we start typically from 0 to 36, which is basically the European roulette, so you have 37 possibilities. The American roulette is a little bit different. We have 0, double 0, and then numbers up to 36, which means in this case, we have 38 possibilities. Then we have the Mexican roulette. We have 0, double 0, and triple 0, and then the numbers up to 36. Here we have 39 possibilities. Now, you see that depending on the game that you are playing, European, American, or Mexican roulette, the probabilities change. Some people may say, yeah, what about the Russian roulette? Well, that's a completely different game. It doesn't involve random numbers, but of course, there is a different type of probability there. But we're not going to discuss the Russian roulette here. Now, when you play the roulette game, you can have different ways to gamble. And one of the elements would be that you put your chips on one number. For example, 13, my favorite number. So when you put it on 13, you have, for the European roulette, you have one chance out of 37, which is 2.86%. On the American roulette, you have 1 out of 38, which is 2.63%. And the Mexican roulette is 1 out of 39, which gives you 2.56%. Once I played the roulette on the island of Jeju in South Korea, and I put my chip on 13. So I had basically, let's say it was an American roulette, one chance out of 38 to win. Now, what I did, I kept on playing, I kept on putting the number or the chip on number 13, and one moment I won. The payment is like 35 times the value of the chip, so I got something like $100, let's say, and then I made a big mistake. I put my chip again on 13, and you can guess, no, you didn't. I won again, and that's the mistake. I should have put all my chips on 13. Now, gambling is dangerous. You can lose a lot of money, but in that moment, I was lucky. Immediately after my second win, I stopped playing. I made enough to continue, and I didn't want to lose the money that I gained. Now, there are other ways to play on the roulette. You can play on pair or impair. It means even or odd. And here we have 18 possibilities. We have the numbers from 1 to 36. 1, 3, and so on are the impair. Pair are 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. So here the probability to win is 18 divided by 38 when we look at the American roulette. So we have 47.37% probability to win. Bank itself has a higher probability, so gaining with the roulette game, well, it's gambling, and typically, be sure the casino always wins. But we will look into that later in one of the following videos. We will have a look at how to calculate the probabilities when we are playing different games on the roulette. So that was it for this video. We looked at the probability, we looked at the definition of the probability. I gave you some examples about calculating that probability. And before finishing this video, don't forget to click the subscribe button, click on the bell button, and every time we have a new video, YouTube will inform you about it. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.